For 2023, Nissan refreshed the Altima, and that's what we have here. Nissan Altima SR in this brand new color, gray sky pearl. Today I'm going to take you on a complete tour of this vehicle. Thanks to Get Nissan of Sarasota for allowing me to film this vehicle for you. We're going to check it out from the exterior, interior, jump inside of it, take it for a test drive, the whole 9 yards. Guys, if this is the first time we meet, my name is Matt. I post 2 car reviews every single week. If that's something that you enjoy watching, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Now let's get back to this. Nissan Altima has been around for 30 years, believe it or not. They started in 1993, and ever since it's been a strong competitor in this overcrowded mid-size sedan market. Now it competes against vehicles like Toyota Camry, Honda Accord, Hyundai Sonata, Kia K5, just to name the few, and it's always done really good. As a matter of fact, it has been one of the best-selling Nissan models ever. Well, just recently it got dethroned by Rogue, with many people switching to the SUVs, but before that this was the best-selling Nissan. So let's take a look at what we have here for 2023. This is the new color. They call it the gray sky pearl, and that along with the garnet pearl, these are the 2 new colors for 2023. So overall the styling of this vehicle hasn't changed much. It still has this nice long hood, couple of distinct body lines on the sides over here, creating this raises towards the side of it. Overall nice and stylish, sporty, right? The lights, I like the way that the lights look. You know, they do have the daytime running lights, LED lights on the inside, and now that's new for 2023. It has this black chrome trim, which looks solid. It's awesome. Now the grille on this SR trim, it's piano black. As you can see, this is open, allows most of the air to get inside of it, helps with the cooling of the engine. Big Nissan logo and SR badge on the side. Now this is body color, and this trim piece right here, well, it looks really good. It have no functionality whatsoever, so I wish they kind of opened it up, allow more air for better aerodynamics. Well, if you were wondering what powers up this 2023 Altima, let's pop the hood and find out. And what you see here is a 2.5-liter dual overhead cam 4-cylinder engine that produces 188 horsepower, 180 pound-feet of torque. Now that is on the 2-wheel drive version. If you get for a 4-wheel drive, it reduces the horsepower to about 182. Now, engine compartment, there's nothing too crazy about it. Everything is kind of exposed. I wish they had like the engine cover on top, but that's just me. Nothing that limits the functionality of it. I don't like the hood prop stick. I wish they went with the hood struts of it, but it does have the sound insulation under the hood, so we'll see how quiet the ride is while I take it for a spin. Well, the nice clean styling continues on the side of this vehicle. I actually like it. Now, 1 distinct body line on top and 2 kind of a subtle lines in the middle of the door. This one goes from basically like 3/4 of the wheel all the way up to the trunk. Looks pretty good. Kind of gives you that more sporty look. Now this is the SR trim, so it does have the sport suspension. Also got the sport rims. And what we have here, we have the 19-inch rims, mostly piano black, but it does have some silver accents on it. And the tires are the Hankook tires. 235 by 40 is the size of it. So that what we have is the wheel and tire setup. Black mirrors, works really good with all the black accents on the vehicle, and then the same, the piano black continues on top of the windows. Now you still have the chrome trim at the bottom of it. Not a huge deal. I actually like it, how that matches up with this. Now this one could use some strong dark tints in my opinion. Well, it does have the smart entry system, so it does have the entry system where you actually press the button to get inside of this vehicle and press it to unlock it without pressing anything on the key itself. And, you know, overall, nothing too crazy about it. Let's take a look at the back. I like how this back end pulls it all together. It's kind of still sporty and classic design. You know, the lights, they're fairly aggressive lights. What I wish they changed is I wish they made it all LEDs. They're still the incandescent lights, so you do have a turn signals, the regular backup lights, and the tail lights over here. What I do like about it is the spoiler on this vehicle. It's not on top of the trunk, it's actually kind of on the side of it, creating this overhang. And also what I like is the metal or the material that they made the signs, the Altima Nissan. They're not shiny chrome, they're not shiny black, they're actually this matte gunpowder trim pieces, which looks really, really well. And of course you do have the SR on the other side, chrome trim piece on at the bottom over here. You do have the rear view camera, and what I like about this is this more sporty design of this bottom piece of the bumper. You do have this diffuser, you also have this dual exhaust on the sides, and of course the reflector lights. Now the trunk can be accessed several different ways. You can open it just by pushing the button over here, pushing the button from the inside, or on the remote. So that's what we're gonna do, and check out how much space we have inside. And that is about 15.4 cubic feet of space, which is not bad at all. It's kind of deep, and it looks larger than some of the competitors. Now, if you want to extend the space, you can also fold down the seats by, you know, pushing on those levers that's going to release the backs of the seats. You, of course, have to push them down, but that's a 60-40 split, and if you need to transport something longer or bigger, you can do that as well. Now, if you pull on those tabs right here, you have those hooks for like your grocery bags or whatever you want to hang in there so it doesn't roll around the trunk. And underneath here, what we have is the tools to remove the wheel and tire, and a spare tire which is underneath here. So you do have a donut tire in here, so don't you worry, we have you covered. Well, if you're looking for comfort, you definitely will find it in this 2023 Altima. I do have plenty of room as far as my knee room, shoulder room, as well as the headroom, and I am 6 feet tall. This front seat is adjusted to my regular driving position, so definitely no complaints here. And the interior is really premium. Check it out. Let's get to the door panel, starting off right in the back. And what we have here is we have quite a bit of hard plastic, which I think would be nice to have a little bit of a soft plastic, at least on this top portion of the trim. But what I like about it is this nicely padded armrest, and you know, the contrast stitching, which you have this kind of orange and white stitching. We'll see that throughout the vehicle. You have a little bit more storage underneath in the bottom portion of the door, and of course this piano black trim, and that's where your window control is. So let's move inside this vehicle and let's see what we have. Now, this vehicle has this premium package. It's about $2,800 package, but that includes this leather trimmed seats, which are really, really nice. And if I give you a close-up of it, you can see that it has this color peeking through these perforations in the leather, which is in orange. That really adds to a uniqueness of this vehicle. And of course, you have the contrast stitching in the middle right here and on the sides, which looks pretty good. Now, two people can sit comfortably. You also have the armrest with cup holders if you wanted to have two people sit comfortably, and then you have the seat back pocket in the back, USB and the USB-C port, and that's all that you have in here. Now you have this little bump in the middle. This is a front-wheel drive, but it's also available in the all-wheel drive version as well. And as always, let's check the quality of this vehicle by closing its door. Boom! No complaints here. Passed the test with the flying colors, and let's check out the front door panel. Very similar to the rear, except there's few changes. Well, first of all, this top portion right here, it's actually a soft plastic versus the hard plastic and the back. It also has this polished aluminum trim that continues, ends with the door handle. Really nice, kind of breaks it up. And a lot more of that leather surfaces over here, as well as the contrast stitching. So you do have the window mirror and lock controls right on the door handle over here, as well as you have more storage at the bottom of the door. So I wish they had this in the back seat. So don't save money on the rear passengers, Nissan, come on. And now let's get inside of it and let's check out what we have. But before we do that, once I'm sitting on it, I won't be able to show it, but let's take a look at the seats. They're nice, they're premium. I like the design of it. I actually like the comfort of it. I've driven this vehicle for a little bit now, and they're very nice, they're very comfortable, and they look awesome. Now you have the power seat adjustments for the driver's seat, and that includes your back, your lumbar, and the bottom portion of the seat as well. Let's get inside and see what else we have. Well, let's check out the interior of this 2023 Nissan Altima SR. I gotta tell you, it looks a lot better than I remember it, and I haven't been in Nissan for a while, so I mean, that's a nice and pleasant surprise over here. So what we have on this SR trim is we have this carbon fiber looking trim. At the bottom we do have this polished aluminum trim. The dashboard actually right here, this is a soft plastic, this is hard plastic, but really nobody touches it. Now we do have this 12.3-inch screen. Normally it will come with the 8-inch screen, but this has been upgraded with this premium package, which, you know, sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, I think it's $2,800 well spent, because what you get for it is a lot. You get this leather seating surfaces, you get the front seats that are heated, you get this screen over here that includes the navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You do have the tilt and sliding sunroof over here, so you do get a lot on this premium package. Now this top portion of the dashboard, I like how this has this contrast stitching over here, kind of matching the seats and everything else with the vehicle. The steering wheel is definitely on the sporty side. It's got the flat bottom steering wheel, and even though it is a CVT transmission, it does have the pedal shifters in the back, kind of go through this simulated gears. Now it's getting hot in here, so let's get this thing started. The start and stop button is right here, and let's see what we have. Nice animation, Nissan logo shows up. We have the Nissan Intelligent Mobility, and we're gonna get into the screen in just a little bit, but starting on the steering wheel. So again, sporty, nice, kind of a 3-spoke steering wheel. You have the aluminum looking trim, piano black, bunch of buttons. Let's see what these buttons do. It's going to start on the right hand side. So you have the cruise control buttons over here. I don't think you have the adaptive cruise control on the SR trim. You'd have to move up to the higher end trim because you have some blank buttons over here as well. Now on the left hand side you have the volume button, you have the track button, back button, and then you have the up and down, sideway, and OK button. So basically that tells me that this is what controls what's going on in the instrument cluster. And the instrument cluster is kind of a combination between the digital and analog instrument clusters. As you can see on the right hand side, you have the speedometer that is analog, and then on the left hand side you have an analog tachometer. And what's going on in the middle is where we have the digital stuff. So what's showing on in here, you have the compass, miles per hour, range, and you see that 3 passengers weren't wearing the seatbelts, actually 4 including me. Now it says that the music is coming out of Android Auto, but we'll get to it in a second. So let's go side to side and let's see if anything changes. So you have a trip basically meter, and go one more, another trip. This is your info screen, so you go up and down, tire pressure, trip, and that is it. And then you go sideways, you have your navigation, your compass basically. That's where the music's coming out from Android Auto. And then you have your safety, so you have the forward, off, lane, blind spot, and you can actually turn that on or off. So if you go to lane departure warning, you can turn that on. I'm going to leave that on. Go back, blind spot, it is on. So we're going to make sure that all of these safety features are on. Emergency brake, whether it's front or rear, both of them are on. We're going to leave it like this. Go back and see what else is here. So you have the VDC settings. So system on, so this is basically your traction control. And the driver assistant, TPMS setting, clock, vehicle settings, maintenance. Quite a few features that you can customize in here. Unit languages, key length settings, factory reset if you wanted to go back to your factory options. That's what you'll do it with. So this is your infotainment system. All right, so we have this 12.3-inch screen, and I apologize, it says Google Maps needs location permission. It's got nothing to do with the car, but it's got everything to do with my phone, which kind of started acting up and asking me for permissions for everything now. I must have downloaded an update and kind of took all the settings away. But anyways, this is your Android Auto, and it is wireless. It's connected right now with no wire to my phone, and you can see it takes up the entire screen. Now, if there is any glare on it, that's because, you know, I still have this plastic film on it. I don't really want to take it off because it's going to be somebody's car. Let them have fun taking it off and actually enjoying this brand new vehicle. Now we're gonna go back to the main Nissan screen, and that's what we have. My phone is connected. Android Auto is the source of the media that's playing, and on the right hand side you have your navigation. Now you can actually make the navigation big by basically pushing that navigation icon on the left hand side, and that takes up the entire screen. And it's actually pretty nice. It's bright, it's visible, it's search with Google, I guess, so it is Google based. That's a good thing because I like their navigation. I like how easy to control they are. So let's see, and you can also go to Android Auto, as you can see. So as far as the music, what we have here right now, it's Android Auto, but I'm actually gonna go and see what other features we have. So AM, FM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth, Android Auto, or apps. These are your sources that you can have for your media. And scrolling down below here, you have your apps. So notification, NissanConnect services, download mobile apps, downloaded apps as Sirius XM Travel Link, TomTom Weather, Where Am I, GPS position, system information, smartphone projection, etc. This is pretty cool because that's if you are actually somewhere off-road, you hit that and basically it tells you the latitude and the longitude. So in case you are off the beaten path, you can actually give somebody that directions, and that person or somebody that you're trying to get a hold of is going to be able to find it. So let's go back to your home screen. So few customization, you know, connections, all apps. It is nice, it's bright, it does have the Alexa. That's part of this preferred package. It shows you the weather, and then you can add some widgets if you'd like to. So select widget, audio, phone, map, whatever you would like to add from this you can add, and it actually shows you the location of where it's going to be placed. So definitely a nice improvement over the technology that Nissan used to have before. They went from the 90s straight to 2020s, which is a good thing. Now, one more thing to check out while we're in the infotainment system is of course the rear view camera. And there's nothing crazy about it. This is a rear view camera, no 360. You do have the active trajectory lines, as you can see they're moved when I turn the steering wheel. The quality of the camera is okay. It's nothing crazy. I think some of the competitors have better quality, but again, this is not bad at all. And let's get out of here and scroll down. So you have some shortcut buttons over here, the volume and power knob over here, and then you have your tracks. You can get to your camera settings over here, so you can set up the predictive course lines, which is the trajectory lines, and display settings, and then you can also switch the display between day and night, or you can leave it on automatic. So you have the vents, hazard lights. Scrolling down here, you have basically your shortcuts for your climate control, and this is a single zone climate control, which, you know, I think some of the competitors are going with the dual zone. I believe you get that on the higher trim levels, but you do have the heated seats on both on the driver and passenger side. And then at the bottom here you have the wireless charging pad, which again, it's part of this premium package, as well as you have your USB-C, USB type A, and the regular power outlet over here. Now the shifter is normal, right? There's nothing too crazy about it. So you have your regular gears, drive, low gear, then park, start stop button right there, and you have cup holders. I like how this console is kind of wrapped around with leather with this contrast stitching, as well as the gear shifter has this leather with the contrast stitching, and that continues on this console in the middle. That opens up and allows you for more storage. That's what we have here. And then one more thing to check is the sunroof. Regular size, it tilts and slides, and that's where you control it right here. The lights still incandescent, so Nissan doesn't like LEDs for some reason, but you can change it on, off, or control it with the door. You have your sunglass holder over here, regular mirror, and then you have the illuminated mirror in the visor. Now I don't see any home link system anywhere here, so I would say that it doesn't have it. Now overall, this vehicle looks really, really good, but let's see how it drives. Well, guys, before we take this vehicle on the road, let's check out what trim levels are available for 2023 model year. So there is an S starting at $25,290, available in front-wheel drive only. Then the SV, front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, starting at $26,090, but all-wheel drive will cost you $1,500 extra. The Altima SR, which is the one I'm sitting in right now, $27,490, and then all-wheel drive would cost another $1,500. Then what else we have is the SL trim, available in the all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive starting at $31,990, and of course all-wheel drive will cost you $1,500 extra. Now, if you're looking for performance, there's the new model that's available for 2023. That's a SR-VC Turbo. Now, it's available in the front-wheel drive only, starting at $34,990. It is a more of a performance-oriented vehicle. All of the other vehicles share the same engine, and they produce the same horsepower. It actually drops about 6 horsepower when you get the all-wheel drive versus the front-wheel drive. This one actually gets 2.0-liter variable compression turbo engine, about 245 horsepower or so, but that's going to be a different video as soon as they get it. So guys, let's take it for a spin and let's see how it drives. Put it in drive, and we're going to find a parking spot right here somewhere so I can do a full 360 on this vehicle, see how tight the turning radius is on it. I'd like to compare it, just by feel. There's really no science about it, more how I feel about the turning radius of this vehicle. So normally what I do is I find parking spaces and I check out the turning radius, and since we don't have any open in here, I'm going to try to do it right in their parking lot. So turn the steering wheel all the way to the left and see if we're going to be able to actually flip it 360 degrees. It's going to be close to that Titan. No, we didn't hit it. All right, and we're coming back around. So actually, in the real life situation, you'd be able to flip this vehicle around quite nicely. It does have a fairly good turning diameter. I still think it's not as good as the Sonata or the K5, but that might be me just because I'm in a different environment. See, that's what happens. Maybe I should get more scientific about it. Now, let's take it on the road and let's check out the acceleration. Now, it does have the CVT transmission with simulated gears. I'm not expecting a ton of performance. I think it's been tested like in the mid-7 seconds, which is basically in line with just the regular non-performance versions of both the Accord, Sonata, Camry, and that kind of competitors. So we'll see how it feels. The seats are comfortable. The visibility is good. I like the drive on it. I mean, it's kind of... if I were to compare it to something, it's between the Camry, which is a lot softer, and Accord, which is a lot tighter. It's kind of in between, so it's a combination of both worlds. Now, the SR trim level is the one that I'm sitting in right now. It does have this sport suspension, so it's got a little bit stiffer suspension than what you would normally get, unlike the SV or the SL trim level. Let's take this on the road. Unfortunately, we're usually in the traffic hour here, so I don't know how much of an acceleration I'm going to be able to check, but we're going to do our best. And like I said, it's been a while since I sat in the Nissan Altima, and this one is definitely an improvement from what I remember. So I like the premium materials. I like this SR trim, and especially the premium package that adds so much, in my opinion, to it. Now, one thing I wish they did is they put this soft touch material right here, which is really nice, and you kind of touch it quite a bit, at least if you're me. But they don't have it in the rear passenger section. Well, how much savings is that for them? I have no idea, but I think that could be improved a little bit. Other than that, I mean, this vehicle feels really good. Let's see, like the rolling acceleration over here. How do I put it in this simulated gears? Okay, so I don't have to switch the modes. I basically drop that gear and go up. And it says I'm in the 6, 7, 8, so it goes up to 8 simulated gears. And if I want to accelerate, I can actually drop it even further. So not bad at all. Stop, nobody behind it, 0, let's go. $50 and $60. Well, it actually feels slower than I would anticipate it to be. Even at this 7 seconds, kind of feels sluggish. But probably that turbo is a rocket, 245 horsepower. Now, don't get me wrong, for the everyday driving, this is definitely substantial as far as the power, the pickup and go. You won't have to worry about anybody rear-ending you, but it's definitely not the fastest thing out there. Gas mileage is pretty good, 27 in the city, 37 on the expressway, 31's the number that's combined gas mileage, which is actually not bad for a non-hybrid vehicle. Overall, it is a positive experience. I like the way that this vehicle feels. I like the technology that it has in it. Now, is it a better vehicle than the Honda Accord, which I haven't checked out, the 2023 that's coming out shortly? Is it better than the Toyota Camry or K5 or Hyundai Sonata? You know, as far as the technology, I still think that the Koreans are beating everybody, you know, as far as the big screens and all of the amenities that you get in there. As far as the reliability, you know, of course you have the Camrys and the Accords. I mean, they've been known for the reliability, but so was Nissan. And now the rebranding, they're kind of refreshing the brand, they make it more appealing, and I think they're doing a really nice job, and it's definitely a solid competitor in the segment. Now, it's definitely would be my top 3, all right, and I'm not sure in which direction. It's not going to be number 1. I'm still kind of thinking, waiting for that new Accord to come out. But you know, I'm partial to Honda. I used to work for it. I drive one, so you know, that is very subjective. So I suggest that you go to a dealership, check it out yourself, but definitely a lot of cool features on this vehicle, and you know, if you like it, buy it. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something, and if you like watching videos like this, don't forget to check out the rest of my channel. Give me a subscribe, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.